Bandai just released a new line called the entry grade aimed at kids. So you have Doraemon, Ultraman Zero, and also the Gundam RX-70-2. But first, let's talk about the entry grade Doraemon. I have to say, the box art alone is worth the price for the kit. It's a really cool looking box art, and I might just buy the kit just for the box art alone. Now let's talk about the kit. It's a relatively simple build. You can finish this kit in less than 1 hour for professional builders, and for young kids, they probably can build this in 1 to 2 hours, right? You don't really need any nippers or cutters. It's a very simple build that you can just tear off the parts from the runner itself using your hands. But of course, the end result looks great, but Big Pete actually went on and put up some paint for the eyes and the whiskers, and also the pattern lining on the face and the mouth as well. So the end result of the Doraemon, frankly speaking, looks very good. The detail is there, but of course, this being a entry grade, there is no articulation whatsoever. Now let's talk about the Ultraman Zero. Ultraman Zero, to be very frank, looks a lot better than what I anticipated. I kind of thought that it would be probably smaller in size, but to be very frank, the Ultraman Zero entry grade here is the same height as a high grade Gundam kit. So that was actually quite impressive. Level of details is pretty good, but then again, the Ultraman Zero has the same issue, not really issue, but more of limitation, because this is an entry grade kit. It has no articulation whatsoever. I was kind of surprised that they actually included a clear part for the Ultraman Zero eye, given that this is a quite cheap plastic model kit, which is why entry grade kit, for the level of detail, it is actually a pretty good build. The biggest surprise of the entry grade is actually the RX-70-2. It's the only entry grade in the first wave that actually has articulation, and you put it side by side with the HGUC Gundam Revive, you can see that the level of detail is actually not that far apart. Of course, the entry grade has a little less detail, but in terms of articulation, the size, if you put them side by side, you really can't tell the difference between both of them. Now let's talk about the comparison between them in terms of the weapons first. If you look at the beam saber itself, sorry, not beam saber, the beam cannon, the cannon on the entry grade actually has almost the same level of size and also detail. The only thing that's missing is a scope. It's not a separate yellow part, but other than that, it's almost identical, and the hilt is a little bit less detailed compared to the HGUC version. In terms of shield, when I first saw this video, I was like, wow, it's almost the same shield. The only difference being that if you flip it inside the bag, the HGUC version will have a little bit more panel line details, versus the one from entry grade is kind of bare. But frankly speaking, not many people are going to see behind the shield or inside the shield as often as we builders do. Level of articulation is frankly shockingly good for a entry grade, which costs about a third or less than the price of the HGUC Gundam Revive. You are actually getting quite a good level of detail, articulation for the price of the kit that you're paying. So I think this is definitely one kit that I'll be buying just to experiment and see how Bandai managed to create such an awesome kit at such a low price, because this might change the high grade kits that we're gonna get in the future. Would it be a little bit more detail, more articulation, and cost maybe a little bit more too? So that is something that will remains to be seen. But for now, I think the entry grade is quite promising. I just wish that Bandai would have given the same level of articulation also for the Ultraman Zero entry grade and also for the Doraemon entry grade as well. But for now, as it stands, we only get articulation on the Granddaddy entry grade. So it'll be quite interesting to see when this thing comes out. I believe this thing is available in Japan right now, and we should be seeing the entry grade RX-70-2 Gundam in most markets in the next couple of weeks. But for now, if you want to buy the entry grade Ultraman Zero and also the Doraemon, it is already available in most markets, and in Malaysia you can actually buy them at all the stores in the coming days. So a big thank you to Lita for providing us the Ultraman Zero and also Doraemon entry grade for review. And for those of you who are still thinking whether you should be buying the entry grade RX-70-2, I think you should definitely get it, because frankly speaking, side by side, you really can't tell the difference between this and the HGUC Gundam Revive. So thank you guys for watching, and if you're new to our channel, please subscribe, and for those of you who want to engage with us, I'll see you guys down in the comment section below.